In 1998, a woman named Jill Barganier watched a Volkswagen pull up to a house in Texas, an event that would later lead to a murder conviction based on a single hypnotic session. This belief in absolute mental access drove the CIA's 1953 MKUltra program, where they attempted to use hypnosis to manufacture remote-controlled human assassins. The project failed because the researchers hit a biological wall. Hypnosis lacks the power to override a person's ingrained moral code. Stage magicians and Hollywood thrillers portray a swinging pendulum as a tool for turning people into mindless puppets, ready to obey any command. Real-world results prove that external hijacking of the brain is impossible. Under a trance, honest individuals refuse to steal, and nonviolent people refuse to kill, regardless of the suggestions they receive. This creates a medical paradox. Hypnosis works as a primary anesthetic in modern European hospitals, allowing patients to undergo major surgeries while wide awake. Meanwhile, the same practice is banned from criminal investigations in 27 U.S. states because it is regarded as a forensic liability. To understand how a single practice serves as a medical asset and a forensic risk, we have to look past the performance and examine what happens inside the brain. Stanford researchers mapped neural activity during hypnosis, uncovering 3 distinct shifts. First, the worry center's activity decreases, reducing distractions. Simultaneously, the brain-body connection strengthens, letting mental focus govern physical sensations. Finally, the self-reflection network disconnects from the rest of the brain. You likely experience this state during highway hypnosis, when you pull into a driveway with no memory of the drive, or when you lose track of time while absorbed in a movie. Hypnosis exists as a natural state of hyper-focused suggestibility, rather than the sleep-like trance often depicted in fiction. This neural hyperfocus can be used to mitigate physical trauma. In 2019, doctors performed an ACL knee reconstruction, a procedure involving drilling through bone, while the patient remained awake and conversational. Instead of using chemical anesthesia, the doctor guided the patient to imagine walking through a mountain valley, while little red fish nibbled at his knee. This phenomenon was first investigated in the 1780s, when the King of France targeted Franz Mesmer's claims of curing patients with an invisible animal magnetism. The King's Commission concluded that the healings were genuine, but they relied on the patient's belief and imagination. In a hyper-focused state, the brain amplifies imagination to a degree that can block the physical reality of a surgeon's tools. This imagination amplifier creates a massive risk when law enforcement uses it to search for objective truth. In July 1976, 3 armed men hijacked a school bus in Chowchilla, California, and buried the driver and 26 children inside an underground trailer. After their escape, police hypnotized the driver, Ed Ray. In his trance, Ray successfully recalled 5 of the 6 digits on the kidnapper's license plate, leading to their capture. This success led police and courts nationwide to treat human memory as a rewritable DVR, a hard drive where every detail is permanently stored and accessible through a trance. Modern science shows that human memory functions as a malleable reconstruction, diverging from the popular concept of a fixed permanent recording. The murder trial of Charles Flores and witness Jill Barganier demonstrates the danger of this misunderstanding. Jill failed to identify Flores in initial lineups, leading to a hypnosis session conducted by an untrained police officer. Because Flores was already a suspect, the officer provided leading suggestions about his hair and appearance, while Jill's brain was at its most suggestible. Jill's brain fabricated a false memory based on those cues, leading her to testify against Flores in court and sending him to death row. Because hypnosis amplifies imagination, the brain will confidently invent a false reality to satisfy the suggestions it receives. This biological mechanism is not confined to courtrooms. Our brains process external suggestions daily through advertising and media. Think back to the beginning of this video when I mentioned Jill Barganier looking at the car in her driveway. Try to recall the color of that Volkswagen. If you remember the car as being red, your memory has deceived you. I never specified the color. However, I planted the word red repeatedly, mentioning red fish and focusing your attention on that specific hue. Your brain picked up those cues and built a false memory to fill the gap. The true danger lies in our own unchecked imagination, operating in a world where we are constantly surrounded by subtle suggestions.